Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production.
Man, look who we got today. Indiana legend, fourth all-time leading scorer in school history, 8-time assist leader in school history. Agee, Big Ten Player of the Year.
Roll them stats.
All-American. Played for one of the most legendary college coaches of all time. And here's what's even more interesting. That brother straight out of Peoria, Illinois. In many regards, one of probably, if not the greatest, most underrated, underappreciated athlete in college basketball history.
Man.
Joining us today on the Hoop Dreams podcast is AJ Guyton. I'm Will Gates, and that's my man Arthur Agee. And AJ, we want to get right into it, man. With you, when was the first time that you saw Hoop Dreams, and where were you, and what were your thoughts?
Look, man, first of all, that might be the best intro I ever had on any show at any time. And from who it's coming from, like that's an incredible intro. I appreciate the love, man. And Hoop Dreams for me, cult classic. First time I saw it, I had to be maybe, I don't know when it came out. I just know that during my middle school lifetime, all the way up to high school, I watched it every day. And there's no exaggeration. I told Arthur that, man, I watch it every day. I know it front and back. My favorite part is Arthur in the house party. I mean, at his party house in it. You know what I'm saying? We used to try to emulate that. We was looking for that song. You know what I'm saying? When he was celebrating going to college, man. That's one of my favorite parts. And, Will battling the knee injury, man, and getting back out on the court, making it happen, man. And it was just a real life. And it's crazy. It was going at the same time that I was coming through high school. So the part about, Arthur going downstate, we all just dreamed of going downstate just like Will did. And I was Will. I felt like Will. We was battling, just ran into good teams that was better. But then it's the person who really wasn't thinking about it as much and never talk about it as much that ended up going downstate and making a name, man. And to see you play against Peoria, Manuel and Howard, who was our hero at the time.
Yes.
And to hear you talk about it, the one-on-one battle with the father, that was crazy to watch you come of age and just take it to your dad. For us who didn't have that, it was like, dang.
Yeah.
He his dad.
That's amazing.
I know the movie front and back. So.
Hey, AJ, that's a perfect response, my brother.
Absolutely.
So, AJ, growing up in Peoria, Illinois, man, how did you just fall in love with basketball, and what courts was it to play in, outdoors, or was it, did you learn the game on the playground?
Yeah, man, coming up in Peoria, the basketball was everything, but initially, I was into JFL football initially. I was really basketball was something cool to do. Everybody was doing it, but I was in love with the Bears, man, Chicago Bears. I was in love with Walter Payton, Willie Gault, you know what I'm saying? Dan, I forgot Dan's last name, but Mike Singletary, Dave Durson. I was in love with football. I still cry when I remember crying when they lost to the Dolphins and messed up our undefeated season. You know what I'm saying? That's how much I was into it. So I played JFL from, for 2 years, for Pee Wee, JV, 3 years, Pee Wee, JV, and varsity. But then when the varsity season hit, the heavyweight was the next one. And I was like, I went to go register, and I'm like, man, these dudes too big. I can't. I'm a $105 and probably 95 pounds, and I was a receiver. I have big hands, good hands, but, in JFL, you never rarely threw the ball. Right. So, I get it a couple touchdowns a year, but I was happy. I played a role. You gave it to the best running back and blocked for him. But that year I was like, man, these dudes are huge, man. So, and where we were practicing, it was a court, or a middle school I went to called Sterling Middle School. And it was the course, one of the courts that we ran on a lot that I'll talk about. And they were playing over there. So I just dropped my my shoulder pads. I dropped everything, put my gym shoes on, and I ain't touched a football since. And, and once I get attached to something, I'm committed. Like I was committed to football, knowing all the players, had all the football cards, knowing everything about them. I got into basketball, man. And that's when I learned about, Isaiah Thomas was the first that I learned about because he was from Illinois, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I didn't even know he played at Indiana at that time. I just knew him from the Pistons. I knew him, the number 11. I'm just like, that's who we want to be like, you know what I mean? So I latched on to that and then started to really study the game. In Peoria, the historic Carver Center is where we played a lot outside. The grown folks played inside. The kids was outside.
Who were some of the players that you was out there playing with?
I mean, some of the players that we all know that I grew up with was Sergio McClain and Frankie Williams was young coming up. Howard Nathan was out there. Tony Weisinger, who played at Illinois, is coaching at Illinois Central College here in Peoria, East Peoria now. It was a lot of the Bradley University players because Bradley basketball was big back then. Billy Wright, guys like that from Indiana. He's actually from Indiana. I want to say Evansville, but I'm not quite sure. Played at a place called Hostler Hall where all the Bradley players, because Hostler Hall was attached to the University of Bradley. So a lot of the Bradley players, Howard Moore. I don't know if you know Howard Moore. Howard Moore
Absolutely.
Shout out to him and his recovery from his injuries. And somebody in his family, that was tough. But he was out there battling it out. It was a mix of college. It was a mix of high school. It was a mix of older guys who don't play. And that's what made Peoria basketball crazy. And then down the hill on the south side where Howard grew up, there was Proctor Center where you really went down there because that was the mud. That was the mud.
Really?
You went down there. That's where if you was tough, they was gonna try to fight you and beat you up before you got out of there.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You had to get your game in, and then you had to watch your back. And once you hit that game point, was talking your stuff, you had to sprint up out of there. That was Proctor, Proctor Center. So for me,
Cabrini Green Part 2.
That was Cabrini Green Part 2. That was Cabrini Green's little homie.
Little homie, yes.
That was Cabrini Green's little homie down in the south part of the state. So it's between me, Salvation Army, Sterling Middle School, Proctor Center, Carver Center, those were my upbringings in the game of basketball. That taught me the toughness. That taught me how to play basketball physically. You know what I mean, and to take my game to the next level as a kid.
Let's keep it there in Peoria because I've always wanted to know this, AJ. At what point did you say, man, my game? Because being 2 hours away from Chicago, at what point you said, I got to get up there in the city. I got to go and where did you go? When you say, I got to get to the city, where did you go? And who was on that court where you say, you know what? I heard about this dude. I got to get at him.
For me, it was, I didn't start coming up to the city until probably my junior year of high school. And that was mainly because, shout out to Larry Butler. I don't know if you know Larry Butler from the Illinois Warriors. He came down and got me out of Peoria and was like, man, you need to come up here and play with us, get you some exposure. And then as I started doing that, then I met who Tuss knows, one of my best friends, Scoop Coleman. And he started taking me around some of the areas. I don't know the names of them, but I knew I had to go in there and make my mark. And we went. Because the way they do runs in Chicago, y'all get y'all money, y'all pay, y'all come in here, y'all get the pay. So it was a little different. I'm like, nigga, I got to play basketball. That's right. It never happened to me before, but if you wanted to get that run in, you did. And the players, I don't know any of the players honestly, other than Tuss, who I played against up there a couple times. But they was all competitive. They was all hoopers. You know what I'm saying? They were tough. They played Chicago basketball. And that's where my respect up there was earned. And then going into my rookie year at the NBA, I played in the Icky. I went up.
Did you?
Yeah, man. Went up there and dropped 40 a few times. And so my respect went through the roof after the Icky.
I know it did.
I know your confidence went crazy through the roof.
It went crazy through the roof after the Icky, man. And I was fundamental, man. You know, I could do a little bit of everything on the floor. I wasn't too flashy, but it was some flash in there. You know what I'm saying? It was basic, and I was mentally just trying to dissect people. So
for those people that's listening, AJ, when you say the Ickies, explain to them where the Icky was, south side of Chicago. Mm-hmm. It was like a baby Rucker Park.
Yes, it was.
Glass backboards outside, concrete block seating all around the court where the people up on top of you. And you say you out there giving these Southside cats
giving them. I had no idea at the time. It was me and Jamal Crawford. I was with Jamal Crawford, right? We naive though. Like, you know, I'm not naive. I'm kind of understanding. Jamal naive because Jamal 18 years old. So right. We pull up in his custom Escalade straight out of 30. What was it? 310 Motors. That's what it was called. We used to get the custom. We pulled up in this Southside Icky. So I'm looking around like, Jamal, man, I don't know if we supposed to be up in here like this. So, you know, automatically everybody started converging kind of around the car. Like, who was that? So, you know, we get out and it's love. Like, it's love. Mm-hmm. We play, Jamal putting on the show, I'm putting on the show. And it was respect. Like, that's when our respect from people, because they saw that, you know, for the most part, we'd come out. Like, I wasn't trying to hide. I was like, that's how I grew up. We go down to Carver, we playing Gus Mackers, we playing all this stuff where everybody is around. And that's how you earned your respect, that physical brand of basketball. So, and I never, you know, I kind of naive. I never felt like I was in danger or nothing like that. I just felt like it was family out there because it was all basketball. You know, we got up in the Escalade, come back, we do it a couple more times. You know what I'm saying? And that was my introduction to the mud part of Chicago when it comes to basketball. You know what I'm saying? So,
did you enjoy your high school days? Like did you, like, you know, because most people, you know, guys, I have a couple of friends that had terrible high school basketball careers, and that kind of affected them going forward. Like they hate their high school, like they hate to see the colors. So I'm like, I mean, high school for me was the best time of my life. Like I couldn't have had a better high school career. You know what I'm saying? So just you playing basketball, getting better, confidence growing. How was those high school days for you, and those rivalries in that area?
I'm gonna get into that. My high school day was fantastic, and I agree with you. And I understand those people who are a little bit bitter about the high school experience. I mean, because we're kids, so you know, at some point you expect to get out of that. But you know, my high school experience was awesome. I played for an awesome high school coach, Chuck Bishop, who kind of was the same as Coach Ping for you guys, and your coach down at Marshall. He was very, very similar. And we were Peoria Central and Peoria Manual are the epic high schools in the city of Peoria, along with Peoria Rich, was very unsung for college talent and going downstate, things of that nature. But Hoop Dreams, man, is what made us, you know, really, really want to compete in high school basketball. It was the you know, the story, part of the story where you both were striving to get downstate. And for our high schools in St. Joe's and Marshall, Peoria High, and Manual, that was the ultimate goal. And that's what we were fighting for. Unfortunately for me, I ran into the Peoria Manual juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? And which was all my guys, man. Willie Coleman,
yes.
Sergio McClain, Frank Wayne, Marcus Griffin. These are the dudes that I ran into, man. And our battles were epic. I beat them one time, and they just ran through the state. So I don't feel bad because they ran through the state.
So who was on your team battling those guys? Like what was just some of your teammates that, you know, that they was okay, but man, we just couldn't overcome them. Like, who were some of your teammates?
We battled, but we just didn't have 3 Division I basketball players. You know what I'm saying? Outside of me, you know what I'm saying? You know, we were very small, and that's in Chicago. Y'all know this, like the Westinghouses and the Marshalls. Y'all know this. we battle against guys 6'8", 6'9", and our center 6'4". Like, you know what I'm saying? And so the balance was Griffin. Marcus Griffin was the one that took it over the level because he was 6'8" and just a monster. We couldn't do nothing with him. Like, you know, the rest of us were even, so that's why the games were battle. But my teammates were really good players. Eventually, my senior year, when it was all said and done, we had a guy named Erickson Beck who ended up playing at South Alabama. We had Jarence Howard, who's a coach at University of Texas now. He was a freshman, sophomore coming up. He ended up playing at the University of Illinois. We had a guy who did Division II up at Lewis University in Romeoville. So, but we battling, and then you have myself, but we're battling Sergio, and we battling Marcus, and we battling Frankie was coming up. He was a sophomore at the time of my junior and senior years. He was a young pup, but he was coming. And and the battles were epic, man. I would never trade my high school. And the thing about my high school experience is that it prepared me for the Big Ten. And that was the silver lining for me. Playing against that competition every night, we played against King. We played against, we played, and we had a thing called a River City Shootout. Ronnie Fields came down and gave us the business. You know what I'm saying? At the River City Shootout. Gave us a good 45. You know what I'm saying? And put on a show. So, but I knew Ronnie up, obviously, with the same class. So we battled Chicago. We battled Manual. So all those battles just hardened me. And that's why I came out of nowhere on the college circuit. It's like, man, I played against all these dudes before. I'm not afraid to play against Lewis Bullock at Michigan or whoever. Man, that's nothing. I played against Howard at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I played against Frankie and Serge on the biggest stage in the field house in Peoria. So those battles really, really prepared me to propel me and prepare me for my career after high school.
I want to keep it at your high school days. What was your recruiting process like? Because again, you get all these greats around you, and they really getting the attention because you know I heard of you. I seen you play some games, but Howard was getting attention. Frankie kind of really snuck up on everybody. You know, the McLean, I mean, shoot, it was almost like you had to get a pass from the McLeans to even get on the court sometimes. So what was that? What was the recruiting like for you?
Yeah, because, and like I said, iron sharpens iron, man, and that's what it's all about when it comes to. That's what I think these kids today are missing. The iron ain't sharpening the iron. See, Howard was 6 years older than me, I think. So I wasn't in his recruiting, but playing, when I started getting of age and going to play against Howard Nathan and David Booth and Jameer Jackson, who played at University of Notre Dame and played against Michael Hughes and Chris Reynolds, who played at Indiana as well, who's the AD at Brett. Like all of these people, like they created the foundation for us to become tough. And then then it was me, Sergio, Frank, Sergio, Marcus, and then Mark Vershaw. I don't know if you remember Mark Vershaw.
I do.
You remember J.R. Koch. He was in my area. A guy named Matt Moran, who played at Pekin and was signed with Northwestern, he was in my area. So when Division I coaches coming down, they looking at all these loaded 6'8" guys. Sergio sitting at 6'3", Griffin at 6'8". I think Vershaw was 6'10", Koch was 6'10". It was like me and Willie Coleman. We was kind of the left out guys because everybody was looking at them, but we were the guys that used that iron and got sharp from those guys. And when we played against them, we killed them. Like when I played against those guys, I mean, I'm 30 plus,
right?
And so when they were at the game watching them, they watching me, and that's how I looked at it. Like, and I told my teammates, man, this is college coaches at the game, like. They ain't just watching Mark Vershaw. They watching AJ.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You said iron sharpen iron because Ray Jackson said that to us the other day too.
Oh, did he? Okay.
And the thing about what that is for you young people out there, what that means is that all the irons don't go and play with the irons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
You got some irons over there, and we got some irons over here, and we finna go at it and we finna sharpen. Yeah. Don't go to the stack Main Street squad. You know what I'm saying? Don't go to the stack. That's why Hoop Dreams what it was, because we didn't go play. King tried to come recruit us.
Right.
But we stayed where we was. We was West Side till we died. Like,
right.
And we don't care how big you is, all American, none of that. We coming at you for 40. I'm talking about up and down. We gonna make it helter-skelter.
Right.
Make the game ugly.
Yeah.
But at that time, you still gonna get that competition. I ain't afraid of you. You gonna build me, I'm gonna build you. So that sharpening that. I don't wanna play with you. I don't wanna play with the Chris Head.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I was earning that, and you're earning respect, and I could have easily went and played with Manuel. I could have easily. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm missing one key guy. Was our McDonald's All-American was Mike Robinson.
That's right.
Mike's my guy, and he was at Richwoods. Like me and Mike, he could have easily just teamed up and played together to beat Manuel. But back then, it was like. I'm just like racking my brain. Like, I know they got all the talent in the world, but we can beat these dudes. So each year, we just trying to sharpen that. But in that process, what I didn't know was happening was I was getting better. Like, just, you know what I mean?
You didn't know it?
I didn't know it. Like, I'm just playing. I'm trying to beat Manuel. I'm trying to beat Richwoods. I'm trying to beat these rival schools. But in the process, the eagerness and the amount of work I'm putting in to beat them was sharpening my tool to get to college, and I didn't know it. You know what I mean? Until to the end, the story is the reason I ended up getting, first of all, I was getting recruited by Indiana early. I got recruited by Bradley. I got recruited by Missouri. I took a visit to Missouri, and I was actually about to commit to them until my stepfather made me realize that they was going to probably redshirt me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, so then I had a visit set up to Michigan State, St. Louis, and Indiana. St. Louis, Charlie Spoonhour was the only coach to come in the house, so I had a special affection for him. He's the only coach that came and actually saw me and wanted me. So my mind started shifting to him. Okay. So then what happened was, then Michigan State, they had Mateen Cleaves coming in. Shout out Mateen, it's my guy. They had Charlie Bell. They had all the guys that they ended up winning the national championship with coming up. They had all of them coming in. But back to Agee's point, I wanted to play against him. Like, I was like, nah, I'm better than him. I can beat him. So I'm like, so Indiana, at the same time, Indiana comes back into the picture. And I played against Manuel. We played against Manuel. Coaches came to the game, and it's 2 times. Manuel against Manuel, they came to the game. I scored, I think, 33 points or something like that, but I didn't make a 3. So and I shot like 7 threes. I was 0 for 7 for 3. I was just off that night, but I still had 33 points. So the coach, Ron Felling from Indiana, was like, if he can do that against Manuel, because we knew what prestigious Manuel was, he can play in the Big Ten. And that's kind of what my recruiting picked up. Tim Knight, Bobby Knight's son, came to watch me play. We played at Central against Springfield High, a guy named Steve Dixon. I don't know if you remember Stevie Dixon.
I do.
Yep, Stevie Dixon was a high flyer, man. Should have been a major Division I athlete, but I ended up scoring 30 points in the second half against Springfield High. And Tim Knight took me back to Coach Knight. Was like, y'all better sign this guy.
I want to keep it on this recruiting, man, because I think so many kids don't understand the process. Because I got a twofold question for you. One is, when you were being recruited, like, were you at the camps? Like, we was talking to Ray, and one of the things Ray was like, man, I ain't get a chance to go to the Nike camps, the 5-star camps, but I'm seeing guys I'm playing with in Hoop Dreams that are on, on film, but I'm not there. But I'm one of the best cats in the nation. Was that like for you, or were you at the camps?
Yeah, I ended up getting the pleasure of going to the Nike camp is going into my senior year. So this is 1995, going into my senior year of high school. And that's where everything changed for me, because, I was able to get exposed to what the talent really was out there. Like, we in our bubble. We in Chicago. I'm in Peoria. We playing against Chicago and we playing against Peoria. But the styles and the way that kids play is different in each state. You know what I mean? So I was able to go to the Nike camp, and I was roommates with Ronnie Fields. Shout out to Ronnie Fields. He stole my penny jersey, too.
Ronnie, get that jersey back.
Ronnie, I had a penny jersey laying on it. Ronnie put that thing on and played in the Nike camp, and he went in the dunk contest with my jersey on. I'll never forget that. But back to it, man.
That's a Chicago guy.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I was able to get exposed to true high-level basketball, organized basketball. We all know what street basketball look like. We know what that. But when it comes to the organized, high-level basketball at the Nike camp, I was there when Larry Alloway was there. I don't know if you remember Larry Alloway, Ronnie Fields, my man from Eric Herring. From my man from Thornton, I think he went to Thornton, Eric Herring. It was like we was an Illinois team that we played on. That's where I started to realize what I needed to work on, what I needed to do to get to college. Like that was the moment. And so that was a big part of it. I remember in the Hoop Dreams, your experience, Will, in that, you know what I'm saying? I was like, when, you know, cause I felt that because it had the same exact feel, like just being able to hang out with future guys I'm gonna play against, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Create those. Mateen Cleaves was there. Bibby was there. It was the first. Baron Davis was there. The first time I seen the fake pass. Baron Davis had the fake pass. So this is different level. Like I'm like, oh, I gotta get where these guys are. So that's the benefit of playing in the ABCD or the Nike camp.
So, but what was it that when you left camp, you said, man, this is what I need to fix about my game. What was that for you?
I had to be my quickness and ball handling, like to be able to get your own, get to any spot on the floor you needed to get to. At that point, I could really shoot the ball, and before that point, I could really shoot it, and I could use my fundamentals, my jab steps that I learned from Come Fly With Me to get over. You know what I'm saying? Like this is people think I didn't have a trainer. This is all new stuff. We didn't have trainers coming up. Like people take me to the gym and say, we gonna do this. Right. I learned everything I learned. I got my finger roll from Arthur Agee on the poster back there. You know what I'm saying? I got my skill work from Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Just the footwork, the jab steps, the pump fakes, and the footwork. I got my ball handling from Isaiah, obviously. Yeah. And then we got our moxie and our toughness from Bird. You know what I'm saying? And then you get your flashiness from Magic. Watching these videos, NBA superstars, and Come Fly With Me. Yeah. So I saw what Baron Davis was doing. I saw what Mateen was doing. I'm watching Bibby. So I'm watching how they can orchestrate, how they can get to spots, and they can make things happen offensively on the basketball court. So I was like, so going back to open gyms at the crib turned from like challenges to, all right, this is easy.
I was going to ask you that, man, because when I came back from 5-star, when I came back from Nike, the level that I had played on out there, when I got back, man, the game got real small, real slow.
So did.
Like I felt like, man, I was like, this cat used to be able to. I mean, the way you get around guys, you move guys, it's like an experience, man. But you it's an out of body experience because when you get back from camp, you feel different, you think different, you act different. I mean, stuff that you didn't even know was doing. Because I was like you, man. I was stealing from cats out there. Like, see, when I saw my team, this was my team at Nike camp. It was me, Jay Rose, Danielle Marshall, Allen Henderson. I mean, this was my squad. When I first saw Chris Webber, I was like, what is this? Who was that for you at camp? When you first saw a guy, you was like, okay, that's different.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Who was that for you?
I would say, and Baron was younger than me. I would say Baron Davis was different. I would say, Shea Cotton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw Shea, the man child.
About Shea Cotton.
When I saw this dude running the lane, dunking like Dominique Wilkins, windmilling, him, the best dunk contest I've ever seen was him, Corey Benjamin was there, Ronnie Fields. I think Luke Recker was in it, and a dude named Jeff Walker from Springfield Landfill. I remember Jeff Walker.
Absolutely.
These dudes, I mean, the athleticism that I saw, Jeff Walker doing backflips and then windmilling, Ronnie Fields doing the reverse windmill, Luke Recker doing behind. I'm just like, Shea Cotton double windmilling. I'm like, this is a different world, man. And you're right. When I left there, the swag was on 110 coming back to my school. I'm like, y'all need to come to my level now. Like I done seen some stuff that, nobody ever seen before. Like this is incredible. So it definitely turned my mental swag up, my physical swag up. But I knew what I had to do because these were the high level. These guys were already recruited, already committed or whatever. And I knew that's what I had to do to get to that level. So it turned me all the way up, Will.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so did you when the recruitment came around? Did you have a? I mean, what you said, was it your grandfather?
When my recruit, my stepfather, yeah.
Your stepfather. Was your mom involved as well? Like,
yeah. Everybody was involved. Everybody was involved, but my stepdad was a 3-sport star in high school, kind of similar to Will's uncle from the movie. I mean, your brother from the movie. They all been through it before, so he was real cautious and giving me little tidbits that kids today really don't think about. Like, look at the roster. See if they got guys in your position already there. They got guys coming in, really think it out. And so with Indiana, what happened was a guy got into an altercation with a girl at our school. And Coach Knight don't play that. Like, he don't play the domestic thing. So the guy got released. That's what opened the spot up for me at that school. So they came back in the picture, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't know nothing about Bobby Knight. I'm in Illinois, University of Illinois in Bradley country at that time. I knew everything about Bradley, Hersey Hawkins, Trevor Trimpey, Deion Jackson, Anthony Parker. Like, I knew everything about Bradley and Illinois with the Flying Illini, Deion Thomas, like Tony Y went there. A lot of Illinois guys, Peoria guys went to Illinois. So, I knew all about that. So when Indiana came, I'm like, man, shoot. Chris Reynolds, who's a athletic director at Bradley, he was a player on their teams, and he came back and was like, man, you thinking about Indiana? I was like, yeah. He was like, Coach Knight crazy as hell, man. I'm gonna tell you that straight up. He's like, if you do this, I was like, at the time, I'm like, man, whatever, man. This is an opportunity. Like, he can't be that crazy. Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So Chris told me that. He played against Chris one-on-one, and I saw it. I was like, Chris was known as a great defender. Like, that's what he did. Yeah, sure was. I don't know if y'all know, Chris played on the Peoria High School 1989 team. That went downstate and then undefeated. They lost to East St. Louis Lincoln, and I think his name was either Earl Jackson or something Jackson. Hit a tough. They went 3 overtimes, probably the greatest high school game ever. Like, they went through 3 overtimes, triple overtime, game winners and everything. And Chris was a part of that team. So that team was known for toughness. And so I played against him, and I'm like, I can get by this dude. I'm good. Easy. And so once he gave me that nod to go to Indiana, I visited, talked to Coach Knight. Coach Knight is the type of dude, is really simple. He's like, you're going to come here, you're going to have an opportunity to start, have an opportunity to play. I ain't giving you nothing, but one thing I can guarantee you is you're going to graduate, and you're going to do well. You're going to do well when you graduate. You never know, talk about NBA or how many I can average. Are you going to start as a freshman? And I looked at the roster. I said, I can play with these dudes. I'm signed here. And that's how I went in.
Before we jump into the Knight, man, because I got a million questions about Knight, especially because St. Joe's Coach Peen was a Bobby Knight clone, and I even want to tell you about my situation with Knight. But before we do that, man, we got a little segment we want to do with you, man. It's called Halftime. And this segment here, man, these are some quick hitters. We just need quick answers from you. Mm-hmm. Favorite city to play in?
Charlotte.
Ooh. Top 5 movies of all time.
Top 5 movies of all time. Hoop Dreams, Life, House Party 1. I'm going to blank. I don't want to forget one of my Hoop Dreams, Life, House Party 1, 6 Sense, and Malcolm X.
Oh, you going way back. All right.
Yeah.
Adidas, Nike, or Under Armour?
Nike.
Okay. Favorite food?
Mac and cheese, Velveeta cheese though, and meatloaf.
Now I'm about to hit you with a hard one.
I just got hungry.
I just got home. Hit him, Will.
I'm about to hit you with a hard one.
Hit him, Will.
Janet Jackson, Halle Berry, or Beyonce?
Janet. Not even close.
Ooh, what have you done for me lately?
What have you done for me lately? Poetic Justice sold me on Janet. When I saw that movie, hey, it's over. Janet,
it's over with. That's what's
like Halle. They both, Beyonce, they are awesome, but ain't nothing more sexier than Janet Jackson. Outside of my wife, my bad. Outside of my wife.
You almost got in trouble with that one, boy.
Almost got in trouble. Outside of my wife. I had to fix that real quick.
Right. We'll edit that. Switching news.
That's right.
No.
AJ Guyton loves Janet Jackson more than his wife. Come and
Right, exactly. Said it on the Hoop Dreams podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, no doubt.
You played for one of the legendary coaches, bro, in NCAA history. So you get on campus. Yep. You already told us what Knight told you, how you going to do it. You know, what the opportunity that it is. What is your first impression of him when you go through that first day of practice and that, is you bonding with him? Is you standing back looking at how he talked to certain players? How is that?
I ain't paid no attention to Coach Knight, to be honest with you. No attention to him. Like that's what made me successful there. Like you cannot pay attention to Coach Knight. As far as like, dang, I'm over here. I'm with Bob Knight. Like it never happened. Like when I got out there, it was strictly business for me. Like my first order of business was to show them that I'm the best guard here. Like I could have been saying best player, but I was thinking at that time, like I want to start and I want to play a lot. What I got to do that. And like you guys talked about, Coach Ping, my high school coach, was motion guys. I fit the system. I learned how to play in high school. And so when it got to Indiana and one person was guarding me, it was over. Like high school, they would double team me, they would box and one me, they would not, that's what I talk about, the iron sharpening the iron, because I had to figure out how to beat that too. You know what I mean? So when I got to Indiana and one guy was checking me, it was like, nah, this ain't gonna work out for you. You there's no help, there's no double team. So I was too busy trying to prove to him that I could be consistent enough to play and start on his team. And my relationship with Coach Knight, as you can see the picture in the back, like me and Coach Knight had a mental telepathy of understanding that I'm going to be here. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to compete. I'm going to guard the other team's best point guard. You ain't got to worry about him. And I'm going to give you 20. I'm going to give you 15 to 20 on the other end with 5 assists and 4 or 5 threes. That's what I'm going to give you every single night. And I'm going to hit clutch shots. I'm going to take the clutch shots. I'm going to miss some clutch shots. And I'm going to make some. And you ain't ever got to worry about somebody being afraid to take a shot or commanding on the basketball floor. And what Coach Knight loved that. What Coach Knight loved was not ball halls, but what you call them, guys that love to be in the gym rats. That's what Coach Knight loved. Like he never messed with gym rats. Like the only people he messed with were the people that didn't really show that they were committed to winning. Like committed to the game, because he didn't want that around him. He was the ultimate competitor.
So you won over Coach. Coach knew he could count on you from how you even, like you said, just how you showed up and everything. Now, you know, when Coach yelled at people, because I had Bedford and Nelson Catalina, like you always thought like I could get through any situation with a coach, because I'm going to just look at them in their face while they're yelling and spitting and all that, be like, and still like, who else you got out here to take my spot? Nobody on the bench. So I'm going to go back out here in the game. So I'm just going to, just readjust what you want me to do and go from there. But you ever see coaches just yell at a player and then the player go like this? His whole game gone.
Yeah, you drop down. Yeah, it killed.
Coach, you yelling at me. Yeah. Not today's game like that. You can't even yell at a kid.
Right. Now, it never bothered me. I had a system with coaches. My system was simply this. If a coach, it depends on the tone of the communication, how I'm going to respond to it.
There you go.
It's the one thing that I would never sacrifice, I was always going to give him eye contact. But the only thing he didn't know was if it was something that I knew was that he was harping on, that was negative, I would tune him out, but I would be giving him eye contact.
Right.
So it was like, yeah, I'm shaking my head, but I ain't hearing nothing you saying. I'm just waiting on you to get done, so I can go back out there and do what I do.
Hey, we used to do that a lot with Pinkerton.
Yeah, you have to survive. You know what I'm saying? So the other part of it was, if the tone was educational and it was informational, I would be listening. Like, all right, coach, yeah, that's what's up. All right, cool. Take it back on the floor. But if I just turned the ball over and kicked the ball off my foot because I'm trying to hit him with a crossover, I know it's coming. So I'm gonna run over there and I'm gonna look him in his eye and be like, as long as you don't take me out the game, we cool. You can say what you want to say, as long as you don't take me out the game. So that was my system of how to handle Coach Knight, because I knew anything he was teaching me or saying to me, was to make me a better basketball player. It wasn't, I hate Agee, I don't like you today. It was like, yeah, you keep doing something dumb, man. You need to fix it. And so it's just like our kids, you get frustrated, you don't raise your voice. Go ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because answer for me, did Coach Knight have such this reputation that you couldn't play for him, that, you know, he was, I'm just going to put it out there for lack of a better word, that he was a tyrant type coach? Because I'm going to be honest with you, one of the reasons why when I was coming out of St. Joe's, Coach Ping was like, you just got to talk to him. Well, AJ, I didn't even want to have a conversation with him because I had allowed, the naysayers and the outsiders to get into my head and say, plus my thinking was, and this was my thinking, if my coach was 10% of what Coach Knight was,
right?
Do I really want to go back into that at a greater level? Right. So what do you think it was that about Coach Knight that gave him such the reputation that he had, particularly if he wasn't in the system?
I would say a couple of things. I would say first, Coach Knight ended up being nothing like I personally thought I heard he was when I got there. That was the one thing for me. For full disclaimer, Coach Knight has done some things that I felt crossed the line. Not with me, but but I was there when the choking incident or the choking incident happened. I was there. Okay. I was a freshman and the other guy was a junior. I don't speak on him because he's since passed. But that couldn't have been me, because I wouldn't have. People don't understand that incident happened when we were in the middle of the season. And I was a freshman, but it didn't come out until my senior year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the person that it happened to, he stayed the whole. If it would have happened to me, I'd have been gone. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And it wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be. But as an adult and as a coach now and as a person, I understand, Coach Knight definitely crossed the line in certain situations, which gives him that reputation. But I look at it like this, fellas, like with our parents used to whoop our ass if we did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that would be looked at as abuse today. You know what I'm saying? They would be in prison. And so, but they were doing it for a reason to discipline us and help correct us. And that's how I looked at Coach Knight. He made mistakes. You know what I mean? But I think all the things he done, I've made mistakes. We all made mistakes. But we all hope that the things that we've done for our families, for our communities, for our kids, for our places of employment outweigh the 2 or 3 mistakes that we made in our past. So that's why I think that, Coach, there's definitely a certain type of player that play for Coach Knight. You have to be tough-minded. You have to already be disciplined. You have to already have a goal in mind that he can't interrupt. If you come into Indiana for Coach Knight to hug on you, love on you, tell you you're going to the league, tell you how great you are, you ain't going to last.
Getting that.
It's not going to happen. So, and the thing about it is some people need that.
Right.
And so you don't go play for Coach Knight. That's the first thing you know about him. So once I understand what the mentality that he has is because he's super competitive. Right. He hates Michael Jordan, hate losing. Hate Kobe Bryant, hate losing. There's only certain people like that. And Bob Knight hated losing. Right. So sometimes every once in a while you lose control of your emotions if you lose. The chair throwing. That incident with my former teammate, headbutting his own son in the huddle. But it was in a form of let's go. It wasn't boom. I'm Maxwell Jim Duggan. I'm finna split your wig open. You know what I'm saying? I know that's the old name.
Right.
But I know that everybody ain't built for that, and I get that. So that's why who you go play for and knowing who your coach is and what type of motivator he is and what type of motivation you can take individually as a player is very, very important for kids. And we made the best decision for me. I knew he never physically did anything to me. He was funny. He was a funny guy. He was always telling stories, very, very, very educated when it comes to, a history of the United States. Very, very connected. Always had stories to tell, man. And it's in my opinion, he's the greatest coach the NCAA has ever seen because he coached guys to winning who didn't have as much talent as guys like North Carolina, 7 NBA players on the team. Like he coached dudes that don't even play basketball no more to the national championship game.
Yeah.
Who didn't touch a ball after that. Like,
That's right.
That's coaching to me. So that's where I give him
Because
kudos.
you said that, let me insert this, because when we, Will went to a predominantly white college. I went to a predominantly white college. You went to a predominantly white college.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, everything about the HBCUs now and all that. What type of friends did you have when you got on campus? Like, did you just stick with the basketball players? Did you make outside friends with all different type of races of people? Like, because I always felt like I could be friends with anybody. As long as you treat me with respect and everything, I don't care what color you is or whatever. Long as that respect is there and we talk with each other with respect, so I was on campus, just having friends, just meeting people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Being outgoing, and because I wanted things to work. So, I didn't want to be one of those kids on campus like, oh, man, he stay to himself. He just hang with the basketball players. I was hanging with everybody.
Right, yeah.
So how was that for you when you first got on campus? Did some people from your high school go to Indiana with you, or was you felt like the only black man there?
It was an African American population, man. It was only like 5%. But I mean, what I say to people about college, and we're in an era where they're making college less and less important from an athletic standpoint. Like, you don't need it, it's really a false narrative, because not everybody is LeBron James. Not everybody. That's once, and as you see, we ain't had one since. Like at the end of the day, since 2003 when he came in. But what I cringe about is the social experience that you get when you go to a place that's outside of what you know. So you being from the West Side, you being from South Side, and all you know is Chicago South Side, all you know is Chicago West Side. The best thing you can do for yourself is take yourself out of that and put yourself into something that's way the complete opposite of that, outside of your comfort zone, and flourish in that system. Because once you get out of that, you've developed relationships and you've seen the world in a way that you wouldn't have gone. No matter how much we love where we come from, we wouldn't have seen that if we didn't get out of that. And you go to Marquette, and then and you go to Mineral Area, and then go to Arkansas State. You wouldn't have got that.
Jonesboro. Yeah.
You wouldn't have got that if you hadn't done that. So all it did was round us. It rounded us, and that's why we're where we are today. That's why we're able to do a podcast and talk to people and execute it and get those stories out there, because we took ourselves out of it. They always talk about how you have to make yourself, the greatness is on the other side of comfortable. Like that's where it is. Like that's where you really get to. So when I got to Indiana, I was like, man, there's a bunch of white people here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Did you preach about that, Will?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. I mean, that's
right.
It's a tough dilemma, but it's one that you do got to travel down to be successful. But I just want to piggyback on that though, AJ. In this regards, I remember going to Marquette, and when I came back, Coach Doyle, man, God bless him, rest in heaven. One of his questions to me was, who handles the black people on campus? Now, in retrospect, that'll never fly in today's time to even ask that type of question.
Ask that question, right?
But the reality was, do you think, and this is my question, do you think your time in Indiana and the times that we're in now, were there things and situations that happened back then wouldn't be okay today because of the disparity and, only being 5% black? Like, I remember being at Marquette and going to class, and I was the only black, African-American man in the class or African-American person. Do you think things that happened during your time at Indiana would seem different now?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like with the things that happened during my time, especially with Coach Knight and things that transpired, like I always tell people he couldn't coach today. Like he wouldn't be. They would have. It just is what it is, because his style and I'm a fan of the style. I'm not saying like it was bad. Right. It was like you need that. You need tough love. You need somebody to get on you. You need to, somebody to kick you out of practice. You know what I'm saying? And when you're not, or when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. I remember my sophomore year, I was thinking about going to the NBA, and I just stopped going to class. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just stopped going. Like, you know what I mean? And I hadn't consulted nobody. I was like, I'm one of the top guards after my freshman year. After my sophomore year in the country. I might as well just go to the league, and Coach Knight found out I had all Fs, you know what I'm saying? And he brought me in and was like, you gonna run until every F is an A. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dang.
Whether or not you going to the NBA or not, you know what I mean? You're gonna run. And I had to, I appreciate that accountability, but nowadays that could be looked at as abuse. You know what I'm saying? A coach making a kid run the stairs could be looked at like that nowadays. So you got to be careful. But I think the microscope is on now. And I think, and socially at Indiana, I never had any issues. Well, the 5% stayed with the 5%.
I know that had to reinforce the moment when he did that, because he was more worried about your education.
Yeah, but that's him though. That's the part when we talked about last, that's what I think of when I think of Coach Knight. I don't think of this chair throw, and people tease all the time about that, and the scandal that eventually got him let go from Indiana. I don't think about that. I look at those as mistakes that we all make. Like when we get in an argument or something, I might throw something, you know what I mean, or whatever we do. Right. But we all done that before. It just wasn't on camera when we did it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but what about the racial aspect though? Again, because what I'm trying to tap into with you right now is I just remember, again, my time at Marquette, there's probably things, man, that racially run over my head that probably would not go over my head now.
You're right. Yeah.
How did you deal with that? Because again, being there, and I don't know if this was for you, but this was from Agee, this was for me. We felt a sense of, man, we can't mess this opportunity up.
Right.
So we allowed some racially tension things to fly over our head, or stuff that was said to us. We dealt with it. Was it like that for you?
It wasn't like that for me. I mean, obviously, because I believe it was really because I was big man on campus. Like, I really think that because I became a household name at Indiana early. I was able to go to every restaurant. I was able to go to every party. Nobody ever, and for me, socially, I wasn't a drinker. I never drank. I never smoked. I never put myself, and the reason was simply because I didn't want to mess up this opportunity, like you said.
Yeah,
I didn't want that to be the reason why, I get drunk and I go home and I do something too. I didn't want that, you know what I mean? So I just stayed away from it, stayed social. But the crazy part is, I think the Ku Klux Klan was created down in Martinsville, Indiana.
Yes, sir.
At that time, like I told you, then me being naive, I ain't really know nothing about that. I used to ride by Martinsville all the time. Now I'm thinking back, like, man, they could have did anything to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't the way, obviously nowadays, if my daughter decided to go to Indiana University, I would be like, all right, Martinsville here, the Black population is this, but we also had African-American studies on campus. We had a guy by the name of William Wiggins, Race His Soul, was our Afro-American studies. And we used to always go to him to get that. You don't just completely take yourself out of Westinghouse. I mean, I was not Westinghouse, but Marshall. I know them fighting words, my bad, Arthur. You don't completely take yourself out of West Side. That's what I meant to say, Marshall, and then go into Indiana and everything is perfect. You need an outlet. And William Wiggins, the late African-American studies teacher, was our outlet. We took those courses. We put those courses on our schedule for a reason, to maintain that, that culture that so we don't forget about that as we look to expand our horizons and be a part of a bigger culture.
So playing for Bobby Knight, this your time, this is the post-Fab Five era. He was a traditionalist. And we all like the baggy shorts.
Yeah.
And I always, so why Indiana never had names on the back of their jerseys, and why he didn't buy into the baggy short era?
Yeah, he wasn't going for none of that because for him, like, that was showing off to him. Like you said, he's a traditionalist. And it's like parents today, they think you showing off when you just being part of the culture. They might think Arthur's showing off because he got his jersey on when he just representing. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it was. But that was the sacrifice you made to play for Indiana University at that time. Even in my high school, it was like that. We had to keep our face shaved. I know Will probably went through that. Y'all had to shave y'all face, keep y'all beard shaved. We had to keep our shirts tucked in. We wore shirt and ties to the game in high school and all of that. So there was never an adjustment period for me because everything I was doing, I had to do when I got to, I was already prepared to get to Indiana because of my high school. So wearing the nut huggers, you know what I'm saying? We had some nut huggers at IU, you know what I'm saying? And when we talked Coach Knight into giving us an extra 6 inches on our shorts my senior year.
For real? So, how did that happen? Wait a minute.
We finally
You butter smooth the disciplinarian on 6 inches on your shorts?
Yep. Yeah.
How did that happen, AJ? Come on.
We changed it. We got them to change the texture of our uniforms because if you go back and look at the film, our uniforms was more silkier, and then the mesh that they have been playing in the last 30. So what Coach Knight was doing was slowly but surely starting to move over into the next generation. I mean, that was the start because that was his biggest problem, in my opinion, as far as the late 90s when our teams weren't going to the Final Four. We were competitive, beat anybody, but we weren't getting to that level. And it was because we were still kind of doing what the 80s did and what the 70s did, but the game had changed. Type of player had changed.
And Adidas was y'all sponsor, right?
Converse was our sponsor. We changed from Adidas to Converse. So my 4 years we wore Converse, we had switched from Adidas. So Coach Knight was just showing that, I see what's going on. I need to start change. But unfortunately, my senior years when he had ended up getting let go, he never got to see that vision into fruition.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, though, man. Mm-hmm. Take me back to the time you was in the locker room and first game of the year. You know you're getting the start. What was going on through your mind? I mean, it was a climactic moment? I mean, did you think about, man, I'm at Indiana University. Right. I'm playing for Bobby Knight. Did you think about like all the other legends that have come from the university? I mean, like, what was that process like for you?
Man, it was amazing, man. My first real college game, because we used to do all preseason games against like athletes in action and all that. Mm-hmm. So we had done that. And, in our locker room at that time, you had the nameplates of everybody who sat in that locker before you. Absolutely. So you just turned around and you had no choice but to think about who you was representing at that time. You know what I'm saying? But our first ever game was against UConn. We played in the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. And that thing holds like 50,000, something like that. It was 45,000 people there, man. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't not believe I'm about to go out here and guard Ricky Moore and Richard Hamilton at the time. And on ESPN with Dick Vitale doing the game. This is my intro to college basketball. Like,
what an intro.
UConn, Dick Vitale, Ricky Moore, and Rip Hamilton. And we won, and I had a real good game, and Dick Vitale was singing my praises, man. And I was just thankful. To be in that situation because, Arthur, man, I didn't go to college to go to the NBA. I never thought about it. I mean, obviously we all think about it. It's like, man, I wish I could play in the NBA, but I was a one step at a time guy. I was like, all right, cool. The next step is college. Let me see what we can do with this. So.
I had that mindset. I wanted to get there. I'm telling you, man. Right. I wanted the Latrell Sprewell, the commissioner, man, for not letting me in. You hear what I'm saying? I'm still right now today. AJ, I'm like, hey, I was good enough. That was them fools. They ain't let me in.
And you was probably good enough. You know what I'm saying? You was good enough. So it was that's why I was just like happy to be competitive. I was prepared to play at IU, and I wanted to make sure that I made the veterans and the alumni, appreciate my skill level and that I should be there and that I deserve to be there. Mm-hmm. And it was a feeling like college basketball at that level. Even right is and I've never played in the NBA finals or in the playoffs, so I know that's a different level. I said, but college basketball to me is like. I mean, the way, the feeling and the atmosphere and the support of the team, man, you're not going to find that anywhere else.
No. No.
How that IU arena is made, it seems like
Yeah.
the fans are on top of you.
They on top of you, man.
Oh my
That thing
God.
is steep, Arthur, man. And I mean, it feels like the roar of the crowd, man. There's nothing like playing
And
in
it's the worst seats in all of college basketball, too, man. There ain't enough room for nobody to sit in them seats.
You don't get to know your fans.
That's
like,
right.
Yeah.
But think about this, man. The first day you because were y'all playing at home that game?
No, we was in a neutral site at I'm trying to think my first actual home.
Yeah, take me to that first home game. You run out and the candy cane, sweat song.
Well, you said it was against athletes in action, like because they come to you guys, but you talking about the
we play two exhibition games to start the season. So and exhibition games were like regular season games in Indiana because of Coach Knight and what he done. They were 17-5 packed. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So it's from day 1 to day 30, 17-5 in there. So I mean, being able to wear the candy stripes, man, and draw and run out with that Hoosier top on, man, and warm up. Like I'm telling you, man, like that's why I cringe when kids don't want to go to college. I'm like, do y'all know what y'all do giving up? Because one thing I've learned is college basketball will be high school college basketball are the last teams you'll ever play on.
That's right.
Yeah.
When I mean teams, I mean where everybody is together for one common goal.
That's right.
Because after that, it's professional. It's about what I got to do to get paid first. Then if I get my money, I'll play some team ball with y'all to worry about the team.
That's right.
But you don't want to get that up so early if you don't have to. You want to experience that. And also college, as you guys can see, college basketball is the place where they're going to revere you the most and the longest. They're going to show you the most love and appreciation. You can go to the league. I had a cup of coffee in the NBA. I get love because I went play for the Bulls, though. I'm different, but most guys don't get that love in the NBA unless you're in the playoffs, unless you're in the finals. Then you get some love, but you can always William Gates can always go back to Marquette. Arthur Agee can always go back to Arkansas State, even Mineral area. You can always go back. They got your picture up there. Like, it's somewhere in that building, William Gates' picture is there.
Oh, you're right about that. It's funny, man. My sons, doing their college run, played against Marquette. And, man, I went back to the game, man, and you're right. That love is still there, man. They put you up on the big screen. They announce you in the gym. Folks know you're coming. They do, man. They appreciate it. So my question to you is, why do you think young cats, what's being taught wrong to them to not want to engage in college athletics or really just college period? So where did you see the change happening at?
Man, I really believe it started when the social media era began to pop, because what social media enables these kids to do is it's not a bad thing, is to become business entities at a young age. Yeah. So they automatically just start worrying about their brand and their business before they even have earned the right or earn the right to worry about that. So once you start thinking about yourself, you don't think about, what's best for you as a whole. You start thinking about where I can make money. That's where it becomes. And I think that's where the young kids today, it's an opportunity for some of them, for some of them, but for most of them, it's not realistic to skip college. It's not realistic to them. Right. They will do it anyway and do the G League. And I like that concept for kids that struggle in other areas, that may have, that may struggle academically, may have IEPs and struggle to pass the test and all those things. So yeah, for some people, the G League is cool. It's like, but that college experience is something that like we talk about. You're going to be more proud when you take your kids back to the game. Yeah. And they see the love and they see you on a big screen. And that's a moment of appreciation for me. And I think these kids are missing that because they see LeBron, they see whoever's skipping college now. But I'm looking at the NCAA tournament, I'm looking at Cade Cunningham, and I'm looking at, Jalen Suggs. Look how much fun that looked.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because of that, their runs, not only they're going to be NBA pros, they're going to always be able to come back to Oklahoma State and Gonzaga and be appreciated for what they did just for that 1 year during COVID. Like, that's appreciation like no other. So I think these kids are just thinking about themselves and thinking about their businesses early, which is great. But you should still want to experience that college social experience and to get the most out you can out of that experience.
Hey, Jay, I just got to tell you this, man. As I'm looking at that Indiana IU logo behind you, man, one of the most famous games sticks out of my head because this game made me want to even go to college even more.
Really?
When Fighting Illini came to Indiana, Jay Edwards and them guys, and it went down to the wire where your man Nick Anderson hit that half-court shot. Do you remember that game, Will?
Absolutely. Yes,
what?
Sir.
That arena, that game alone, and I think it went into overtime.
No, that was the game winner right there. Yeah,
that
it
was
might
the
have won the game overtime. It might have won in overtime, and he won it in overtime, I think.
Dude, Jay Edwards was on that team.
Yeah.
Silky Smooth, that Dickie V. Silky Smooth, Jay Edwards, baby.
Yes, it was.
Jay Edwards is the greatest shooter that Indiana basketball has ever seen.
Really?
Absolutely.
From Agee's mouth, from the guy who lead in the IU in three-pointers.
Yes, sir. Now here's the difference. I was a bucket. Like, I could shoot, but I could do it all. Like, I can go by you, I could raise over you, I can shoot over top of you. But when it comes to just pure silk, like smooth, I'm smooth like Jay Edwards, but I'm smooth like Jay Edwards though. Like, I'm paying homage.
Hey, Will, he ain't lying.
No,
let me tell you. Quick story. Scupo bring AJ Guyton up to Chicago to one of our runs. I think this was probably about 3 years ago.
It's like 3 years ago, yep.
About 3 years ago, and we in this cracker box gym, elementary school, right? So only a few guys in here know who AJ is. You know, I mean, they know who he is. He played for the Bulls and all, but they don't know him like now. Like they wouldn't even. Why AJ lit us up? The gym was so like kind of short. He wasn't even coming across half court pulling, bro. Bang, bang, bang. They like this, Agee, you going to have to get AJ. I'm like, shit, why I got to get him?
Right. I'm like, I don't try to play against my brother. I want to kill y'all. Like, that's what I told him.
Man, AJ rolled off like three on us like, damn, ain't nobody going to take AJ off the court yet?
I remember that, man. I hadn't played basketball in a long time.
Yeah, I remember you telling us that. I couldn't believe that shit. I'm like,
I just came up there with a scoop, and I'm like, man, he's like, play with me. I was like, cool. He's like, Tuss gonna be there. I was like, I'm there. I'm going. Like, and that's how I was like,
Jumper Silky Smooth.
Absolutely. Always has been.
Always paying homage, man. That's why I love doing a podcast and get these guys their flowers while they're still here, man, for sure.
Well, that's what we're doing for you, man. But AJ, we gotta bring it up, man.
Yep.
We gotta talk about the incident with Coach Knight and specifically more so from your perspective. And again, I know earlier you said that teammate is no longer here, but you were a freshman.
Yeah.
But when it came out your senior year, what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, rest in peace to Neil Reed, man.
Yeah, rest in peace to Neil Reed. I was surprised that it came out. I mean, obviously it was leaked. It was given to somebody to put out. And, and what it did was like, it's karmatic. I call it karma. Like when you do something that you probably really ain't supposed to be doing, eventually it's going to come back to haunt you, like at the end of the day. And
what kind of day was it? What kind of day was it? What did y'all come off a win, a loss? Like,
well, it was a lot of tension. Like that year, my freshman year, we started off 15-0. We were ranked number 5 in the country, and we hit the Big Ten season, and we just hit a wall. Like, I don't know what happened. And we hit that wall, and it was just frustrations boiling everywhere, particularly between those two. And, all I remember, we were practicing. We were playing 5-on-5, and something had happened. I think the player had done something. And, Kim and Coach had some words, and I just remember hearing the player mumbling something. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of walking away. I'm paying attention. I'm just, they behind me. So I'm just kind of like, and I see Coach Knight light up. And I just hear him say, "What the hell did you say?" And then I just seen him walking fast. And what the difference is in the cameras is The way they show it is like he just was strangling the man and he was dangling off his feet and all that kind of stuff. But it all happened in like 0.5 seconds. It's just kind of like, it's like a push, but it was around the throat. And that's where the line was crossed. It was around the throat, but it was a push. He was like pushing, like, don't you ever talk back to me or something like he said like that. And we kept practicing. Not only did we keep practicing, we completed the season. Like, not only did we complete the season, the player never left. We never brought it up, never thought about it. So like I told you, when it came out my senior year, when they asked me at first, I didn't know what they were talking about.
Wow.
I had because it happened 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
So how many games I done played, how many other incidents in practice and happened since then, I never thought about it. And so I did a press conference and, and people was mad because we defended Coach Knight. You know what I mean? I was like, at that time, you didn't snitch on what was going on in your practices.
Right. Speaking to that, did you feel you had to show loyalty to your coach? Like
I did. I had loyalty to him. Like that, that's what you do. Like, you're not thinking about something that happened. Like, man, I don't remember that happening. And we just got to be men. We gotta fight through it, and we gotta continue on our mission. Our mission is to win the Big Ten, and our mission is to play. That was my mindset. It wasn't like I'm defending Coach Knight from doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. I really didn't remember at that time that happened. But after a couple of days after the press conference, we saw the film. I was like, damn, I do remember that. And that was like, damn, okay. But hey, you don't tell people what's going on at that time. You don't tell people what's going on in your home. Like nowadays, you get in trouble for not disclosing what happened.
Right. So social media, just think if social media was back then.
What? It would have been done. Like Will said earlier, he was like, things that happened then, it wouldn't have been accepted today. Like that was one thing that wouldn't have been accepted today, because as crazy as Coach Knight was, all these other coaches were crazier.
Yeah, Rutgers guy. God.
All these dudes that was out there in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, that's how you coached. Your coach grabbed you. Yep. He head-butted you. He grabbed you by the jersey and pulled you.
And he called you every word he could think of. That's what they did.
Yeah, Coach Knight used to call me the little shit. He used to call Isaiah Thomas little shit. He called both of us little shit. He called us, come here, you little shit. Like, I didn't think of it like you disrespected me. I was just like, that was like, we came, and I hate to say that, an MFer. We're like, come here, MFer. Like that, when we talk. Yeah. That's like, come here, my man. Like that's
I hate it when a coach told me I couldn't do something. Like in the movie Hoop Dreams, what I hated about what Ping did, and it's so crazy. William Gates is on the side of practice with All-American Darrell Cunningham passing William Gates the ball, going around like the circle of the top of the free throw, like coming in with his right foot and his left foot stepping into a jump shot. What I don't like, he gonna tell Will, do it right. I know you can do a left you can't. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you just gonna tell my boy like he can't do something? So that fueled me when anytime a coach tell me I can't do something. Right. Oh man, you better believe I'm gonna go straight 100 in on it, trying to perfect it. So you ain't gonna never fix your mouth to say that again.
Absolutely, man. It's motivation. It's definitely motivation, man. But Coach Knight was a guy. That's how he was. We knew that when we signed up. That's the crazy part. They act like we didn't know. I thought he was like who's a cool, calm coach, like Tony Bennett at Virginia did now. Like just a calm, relaxed. That wasn't him. When I signed up, I saw the chair throw. I saw that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I heard the story about something happening in the Pan American. I knew all that. So when I saw it, that's why it flushed out my mind so easy when it happened. Because I'm like, well, it couldn't have been me, because I would have slapped him if he would have grabbed me around the throat. Like that. It couldn't. So, but the fact that you didn't slap him, maybe that's happened before. I don't know. Right. So that's why I just flushed out of our bodies so quickly, and we continued on. It was in the middle of the season. So the player didn't leave and transfer until after the season. And then it was over in 90, that would be 97. Yep, 97. He transferred in 97. Tape came out in February, I believe, January or February of 2000.
Right.
So when it came out, I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about, man. We ain't seen that. That ain't happened. So, they asked us to, did we want to speak on his behalf? Of course. Coach Knight made me a first-team All-American, Big Ten MVP. a little dude from Peoria, Illinois, that nobody knew about. Like, he helped create that. So why would I defend him? It's like defending your father after he just whooped your little brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you whoop your little brother, you ain't gonna be like, man, my dad is an abuser. He is. You're gonna be like, man, that's how we do it in the Agee household, man. We do something, we get disciplined for it. You know, at that time, that's the way it was. So, no, dude, not as an adult and as a grown man with a daughter, with kids, you're not gonna put your hands on my kids, though. Like, that's
you know, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I wanted to ask you about that too, in terms of defending Coach Knight. How much of that do you think it changed the trajectory of your career? Do you think, because in my mind, I'm like, AJ Guyton, All-American, Big Ten MVP, but you get drafted in the second round. Those don't add up to me. Do you think the incident had something to do with that?
No, the incident didn't have nothing to do. Here, the reason why I wasn't a high draft pick was simply because Indiana basketball players weren't known to be great pros back then. Yeah, the only great pro that came out of Indiana at that time, George McGinnis back in the early 70s, and then Isaiah Thomas. And Calvert Chaney had a good career, and Allen Henderson had a good career, but they weren't worthy. I mean, they were all first rounders, and that's about the problem was the system that I played in was all motion. And at that time, the NBA was strictly a little pick and roll here, but you had to run the basketball team and throw the ball into the big guy. Yeah. AJ Guyton would be a $70 million player today. Like in today's game, where you just dribble, come off a pick and roll, and shoot it.
And put it.
You know what I'm saying? So that had nothing to do with, in my opinion, I'm not 100% obvious by any of that, but that's what I heard as I'm going through the draft process was like, you know, they don't know if you can run a team.
Shit, I believe you. I believe if you was in the NBA right now today, you would be average at 3-pointer, your percentage would be 45.
Yeah, I would be a 40 to $60 million guy in today's NBA as a guard like that. Because what I did was what they do. Now, Steph Curry and AJ Guyton juiced all the way up.
Juiced up. 2.5.
And it's interesting, man. It's a guy, man, here from San Antonio. And I think about the green light he has. And you know him, Jordan Clarkson. Could you imagine, you know, being in the league and your sole job is just to get buckets? I mean, you just said it. You were a bucket.
That's your job. That's your job.
That's your job.
Like that's what people don't get. That's why my career didn't, because I didn't understand that. And I didn't have people in the pros who had played in the pros before me, who I was close to help me understand. Like, you want to stay in the league? Yeah. I'll tell you who figured it out. And it's Jamal Crawford.
Absolutely.
See, me and Jamal came into Chicago together. Mm-hmm. And Jamal was the first round pick. I was the second pick of the second round. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I played earlier than him because I was more experienced than him because of the college. But what Jamal figured out was after his fourth year in the league, he was like, if I just get buckets, I can maximize my potential here in the NBA. So he turned from a point guard, they brought him in to be, to just a bucket getter, a sixth man of the year, averaging 50-point games in 4 different teams or something like that.
Absolutely.
So if somebody would have told me that, and because what they told me was, AJ Guy, you got to run a team. So what that did was that took away who I was. So when you watching me play, you're like, man, that ain't AJ. That look like a basic dude out there. Like, that ain't right. No, him. AJ would have shot that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I'm being told in my ear, you got to run a team, get Elton Brand the ball. You got to get around Artest the ball. You can't come across and just, go to attack one-on-one and shoot. You got to get everybody in a position. Yep. And that's what was the turning point of me not having a long pro career. Because that's what it was back then. You had to be able to do that at a high level.
Who were the teams that you worked out for?
I worked out for 9 NBA teams going into my into the training camp. I mean, not training camp, into the draft, before the draft. So I worked out for, I might not be able to name them all, but I'm gonna try to. I worked out for Phoenix, the Lakers, the Magic, the Sixers, the Raptors, the Bulls, the Vancouver Grizzlies. That's how old I am. And Utah,
they say Vancouver.
Utah Jazz. And there's one I always miss that I can't remember. And I want to say it's either Portland or Sacramento that I worked out for. So those were the 9. I worked out for, I know it's 9 for sure, and it was a fun time, man, just to travel. That whole process is awesome to be in the part of the NBA draft, man, and to have a draft party and things of that nature. And like I said, it was everything that happened to me after high school was bonus for me.
Wow.
Like, it was all bonus because it was stuff that I knew was there, but people from Peoria didn't do. Like, you know, Howard Nathan played, I think, 2 or 3 games in the league, and it kind of woke everybody up. Like, oh, we can do this.
We can do this.
It doesn't matter where you're from, because we thought you had to be from Chicago, L.A.
Right.
You had to be from the big cities, and it was like, no. So that kind of woke people up to think about.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Take us, like you said, like you got on draft night. I mean, you play all these. I mean, you go to these training camps. So now take me and Will and our listeners, because everybody don't get drafted.
Right,
like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, some people sitting at the crib. Some people probably, oh, man, I ain't worried about it. I'm at a sports bar. I get the phone call from my agent. Paint us the picture through draft night. Like your party. What did you have one? What?
Yeah, man. Draft night was crazy, man. Because what they do is you kind of know what round you're going to go and based on if you're invited to the draft. So when I found out I wasn't invited to the draft, I kind of knew, but I still was in disbelief because in my draft, I think it was the most Europeans that went in the first round. That's why I was pissed for a long time at that, man. Like, because if it wasn't for them, I definitely would have been first round. Like, but it was the most at that time. And so I had a draft party at a small little lounge called every town got an Elks Lodge.
That's right.
So I had my
with the horns on them, huh?
Well, I had my draft. It was the black version, though. But I had my draft.
You said the black version.
For sure, yeah. My stepdad's a member, been a member for like 75 years, and he only 63. But but yeah, we had a draft party there. The closest family and friends was there, man, and I was excited. But I'm gonna tell you what, I was very, very, very selfish, and that's thinking back because I started to get furious when all these names of all these dudes I annihilated in college start getting called, and I'm still sitting there. Like that's when the politics. I start to understand true politics of sports, because up to that point it was all pure. Like it was all pure.
Right.
You was just hooping for the love. But then when I saw, and then I thought all these guys are my guys. Like, my team got drafted in that draft. First of all, Jamal Crawford, who played 8 or 9 games at Michigan, was the first guard taken that year.
Yeah, he was.
And as much as I love Jamal, I had gave Michigan buckets that season.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? He had his share. You know what I mean?
And that's crazy that the NBA people looked at them 8 or 9 games and said that we taking him, he's better than AJ. I would have been damn furious too, AJ. What you mean selfish? You supposed to be selfish.
Because I was mad as hell. But what the thing about Jamal wasn't really even supposed to be in the draft. This dude came to the NBA Combine down in Chicago at the Moody Bible.
I was there. I saw you.
He was there. Yeah.
I was there.
Jamal Crawford came in there. He played, I want to say 1 game, but he had like 11 assists. 8 of them was fantastic assists. That's what got him drafted. And he didn't play no more. He was done. And he got drafted off 9 games in college and 1 game at the Moody Bible because he measured out at 6'6", 6'7".
He was different too, though.
He was different, definitely. He was different. No, there's no shot there. But I'm talking about the process of being drafted. And when you're a senior and you feel like you seasoned and you ready to contribute, and everybody who has the less experience, they get the opportunity before you get. So that's what had me steaming. Because now that I'm there, I remember I told you I never thought about being there other than the time I was like I might leave and go to the league, but. Outside of that, I put it in my back pocket after that incident and never thought about it again. I just want to graduate, get a good job, and live a good life. So now that I'm here, I was like, I need to be here then. What's up? You know what I'm saying? So all these Europeans, I think Mateen went before me. Jamal went before me. Speedy Claxton went before me. Keon Dooling went before me in that draft. And I might be missing 1 or 2 more. It's like 4 or 5 guards that went before me, and I was steaming. So, but finally, and I thought it was a good.
Is your people looking at you steaming in front of them? Are they trying to calm you down? Like, baby, it's gonna be okay, baby.
Down, Agee. They trying to calm me down. They had their hand on my shoulder. They could see I had dropped my head like this at that point. I'm like, this is embarrassing. Like, I'm thinking I'm about to go first round. That's where I say the lack of gratefulness. Because now that I look back, how you gonna be ungrateful for even being in that situation? But but I was a kid, and that's how kids thought. He's like, it's all about me.
Let me ask you this, tied into your pro career. And I thought about this for myself as well. Often I thought about this. Do you think, because the way you was coached in high school, the way you was coached at Indiana, I thought about this for myself, man, the way I was coached in high school, the way I was coached at Marquette, that guys like us that got this team concept, we gonna move the ball, we got this unselfishness about us. Do you think that hurt you in the draft camp, that hurt you with trying to, I guess I would say, differentiate yourself from other guys? Because again, when you went into that Bulls team, they had a Khalid Elamine already there, like you say, Jamal Crawford coming in.
Yeah.
Do you think that hurt your game playing so much of a team concept basketball? I know it's crazy that may sound, but do you think that hurt you?
I know exactly what you mean. I don't think it hurt me, because what we learned, Will, was how to play the game the right way. We had learned to play the game the right way, as opposed to where the NBA was more of a, like we talked about earlier, me first game, a selfish game. It's about you. And so, in a sense, because that was my mentality. My mentality was always move the basketball because I believed it was going to come back around to me. Right. Yeah. But when it was time to earn a spot, actually that's not true, because I earned both of my spots the 2 years. I was never on a guaranteed contract. I was always having to make it good. You know what I'm saying? So I was always on edge until after January 10th, and that's when the contracts became guaranteed. So I believe that the way that the game was at that time is what cost us an opportunity to have long pro careers. And the fact that we didn't play in the system where we dominated the basketball and handled it, we set it up, we set up the offense. We did everything. That's what hurt me, because that's the adjustment that I had to make in order to, and I needed more time to make that adjustment. I believe I could have made the adjustment, but in the NBA, they don't have time for you to get better. They want you to be good right now. And that's what hurt me at that time. But I never feel bad about learning the way we played the game, because now I can teach it. You know what I'm saying? And I can teach all stuff that you can implement into a pro style game now. And so when I coached, I was having success as a coach because I had all these worlds. I had all the European world. I played there for 8 years or whatever. I had the NBA world where I got 2 years in, cup of coffee, third year. Then I had Indiana where I learned to play from one of the greatest technicians of all time. And it all molded me into a coach. But as a player, it had some impact on its fact of us being aggressive and us being selfish.
Right.
We just weren't selfish. I wasn't a selfish player. I'll have 30 without being selfish, which is crazy. Like, most people had 30 is because you can tell they're trying to get 30. I had 30 and you like, dang, he took 2 dribbles the whole game. Like, dang, like, you know what I'm saying? So, in a sense, I understand what you're saying. But for me, it was a lack of education and understanding what I needed to transform my mind to be in the NBA level. And let's get me wrong, I had some success in games. My failure in the NBA was political, because what was happening to me was, like you said, 6 rookies got drafted my rookie year to Chicago. Myself, Jake Vosko. I think Jake Vosko went first. I went second in the second round. Jamal Crawford was first. Marcus Fizer was first.
Yeah, Marcus Fizer.
Then it was Jamal.
Marcus Fizer, Jamal, Khalid, Jake
Vosko,
and who was, and had you, and y'all had one more guy. What was his name? Dalibor or somebody like that?
Oh, Dalibor Bogaric.
Yes. Yes.
So we were extremely young, but when we went to camp, and Jamal will tell you this, I annihilated them, everybody at camp. Khalid will tell you this. I was the best player on the floor. Wow. And El Moran and camp. And I ended up starting my rookie year. I was a starter. Like I got injured against the Hawks. Maybe, I can't remember, maybe like 15 games into the season, I sprained my MCL. And that's what kind of changed everything for me, because even though I came back even better, the team had changed. They had brought in the second year. They had brought in Kevin Ollie. They had brought in Charles Oakley. They had brought in Greg Anthony. They had Eddie Robinson was there. Like they had traded Elton Brand for Tyson and Eddie. Eddie Curry.
We love some Eddie Robinson because they gave him a bag, baby. They said, man, that boy he still got money right now.
Yeah, he already good, man. Eddie, good dude. So when I came back, I dominated the next training camp. When I learned how politics was real, no matter, I think in preseason, I shot like 70% from two. Right. I shot like 60% from three. Averaged like 12 points a game, 4 assists a game in the preseason.
So ladies and gentlemen, for the young kids out there, can you understand his mindset? Agee Guyton come back, second season, I'm finna kill in camp again. And the confidence that this man must have to have. And so now he's understanding the politics of it. He's still in practice every day killing these guys. And he knowing they still ain't going to, I'm only going to get these many shots with this 5 that I'm starting.
And the crazy part, Agee, is I didn't know. Like I learned after the second season, after killing again and put myself in position, I should have started. And I didn't even play, but I think I played 2 or 3 minutes the first game. I'll never forget, it was at Boston. He put me in the game. I hit a jump shot, took me out the game.
Shame.
I said, what the hell is going on? Like, but here's the thing, like when you draft people ahead of someone on a second round pick, especially in a place like Chicago, where the question is going to be, why Jamal ain't playing? How y'all draft him so high and pay him $2 million and y'all going to play AJ, who you drafted, and y'all gave him league minimum. Right. So the question started swirling. So the veterans started. And then, but they couldn't keep me off the court. I ended up earning my opportunity. I played well, and ended up the end of the season. I made a huge business mistake, and I didn't know it at the time. My agent really made the mistake, but I turned down what they called it. They called it it's a contract that they give you in the off season to keep you. But it's not guaranteed, and they can rescind it or trade you if they do. I forgot what they called it at the time, and I turned it down from the Bulls. That was the biggest mistake I made.
So had you not turned it down, what would have happened?
I should have kept it and kept working with the Bulls. I should have done that. What I did was I had an ego. I was like, man, forget them. They won't guarantee me no money. I'm going to go and I'm going to bet on myself.
There you go.
I went out to LA and did if I'm going to do a no guarantee contract again, I'm going to do it with a team that I think that I can go to the playoffs with. That was my mindset, because the playoffs is where you get your money.
Right. Yes. Right.
So I was like, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to battle. I was on there battling Gennaro Pargo for the position out there in LA. And I murdered it. I was with Kobe. Kobe was my class. You know, I meshed with Kobe, meshed with Shaq. I had a great preseason. What happened was Shaq was injured that year. He had toe surgery.
I remember that.
And he ended up not playing. So they needed a different kind of player to play with Kobe. So they went with Gennaro. And that was really the beginning of the end of my NBA career.
But what's interesting is they went with Gennaro, but I mean, in a lot of sense, I mean, he was known for his shooting. So
no, he was more of a up-tempo point guard. He was pushing the rock. Yeah. It was what they needed more so than a guy that was going to help space the floor for Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Because Shaq wasn't playing. So Shaq being injured was the reason why Phil Jackson told me that we're going to go in a different direction because we need a different kind of guard. So Gennaro and Gennaro deserved it. He had a hell of an NBA career.
Yeah, another Chicago guy.
We cool. We competed at it. We shook hands. You know what I'm saying? That's the last time I cried because it was the first time I got cut. You know what I'm saying? And I took it like a G, and I went on about my business. Like that was after that. Tried the G League a little bit. That's when the G League was first starting. D League was D League down Southwest area, Huntsville, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? I played in there. We skipped and my Lou was on the Mobile team. You know what I'm saying? So we had a hell of an experience. But I played there. No, actually, no, I'm lying. I went to Golden State first. I had like a 10-day with Golden State. And I stayed there 10 days. They didn't give me a second 10-day. They ended up bringing in Earl Boykins, and he had a good career, the type of guard they played. I think Gilbert was there, but he was young. Gilbert Arena was there, and Eric Musselman was the coach. I appreciated him for bringing me in and giving me an opportunity. So after that, I went to the D League, and then through the D League is how Europe came about, and that's when I was like, and then at that point it was about, hey man, if I can make the same amount of money in Europe that I can make in the league, why am I chasing the NBA? That was my thought. Like I was all about taking care of the family, you know what I mean, and just making paper at that time, because that's how you know it changes from your love of the game to business. It changes from the hoop dream to how can I get money out this dream.
That's right. As Agee call it, your hoop reality.
Your hoop reality, I like that. It changed from a hoop dream to the hoop reality, man. It became a business. It became less fun.
Did you have to switch agents?
Absolutely.
Your career?
And I don't blame him. Like the only reason I switched agents really because I stopped chasing the NBA, and I didn't need an agent to play overseas. I didn't need an American agent to play overseas. So
now, if you're going to give me some endorsements, if you're going to work your butt out and work them phones to bring, hey, Duracell to the table or somebody, whatever, hey, I'll keep you. But other than that, I don't need you for me to go overseas.
Everything happened for a reason, fellas. So it was just like, hey.
Hold on, man. You go overseas. A lot of people don't get to do that. Can't even get a passport. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how was that overseas? I mean, the food, the people. Open your eyes to a new horizon of living. Like
overseas changed my life. They changed who I was. Because at that time I was just a guy that I was all just focused on family and basketball. I never thought about anything else. Like it was nothing else was real. And I know that's we supposed to, but we need to be educated and aware of what's going on around us. We're talking about socially. We're talking about economically in our country. Like I was oblivious to that because it was just basketball. But when I got to Europe the first year, I signed a contract to play like 3 months in Bologna, Italy, and a team called Skipper. It's called Fortitudo, and I hated it at first, fellas. It was punishment to me coming from the NBA. You know what I mean? Like it's looked down upon. It's like you failed. Like, and I was looking at it like that initially. So the first month and a half I was there, I was BSing, man. Like I didn't want to be there. I want them to send me to the crib. Like
really? Like what some of the stuff was you doing? Was you trying to get kicked off the team?
Not from trying to, fixing the game's point of view. First of all, it was a hard adjustment to the game. The game in Europe is totally different. It's very fast paced. There are very few breaks. They don't pass you the ball like the national players is what you call them. The players that's from that country, that's on that team. They're not trying to help you get off. Like I got in a fight with the point guard over there because I'm open. He won't throw me the ball, and the reason was because overseas you don't get an assist for just penetrating, kicking it out to somebody in the corner. You don't get an assist for that. The only way you get an assist is if you penetrate and I kick it to Arthur and he dunk it or lay it up.
Wow.
What? No jump shot.
So the point guards, they would come off pick and roll. I'd be wide open and he wouldn't throw it to me.
Damn.
He's only looking to score or he's looking for the roll man. Because that's what shows up on the stat sheet. So once I figured it out, we had to scrap because I needed to get the ball.
Right.
Like, I'm not coming all the way over here from my country to watch you shoot. Like, and then I'm getting paid, $50,000 a month. Right. And they on my head because I ain't scoring. You ain't passing it to me. So I had to adjust to that. Then the other second adjustment was at that time, fans could smoke in the arena.
What?
Yes. So they could smoke cigarettes in the arena. So you come into an arena, the arena full of cool miles and all kind of smoke. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you thinking from a breathing standpoint, how you supposed to adjust to that?
Right. Y'all actually running up and down the court, breathing this shit in.
Yeah. So, secondhand smoke is what they say can kill you. Sure.
Right.
We hooping in it. You know what I'm saying? So that was tough. And then off the court, I'm staying in this little bitty apartment. You know what I'm saying? I don't know no language, so I'm eating pizza and drinking Coca-Cola every day because I don't know any of the foods, nothing. So I'm ready to go to the crib. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so what changed me was when they told me, I was like, look, well, you can get $35,000 if we make it to the playoffs. I think it was like three games out. Man, you don't know.
Smoke. They was for real, for real.
Arthur and Will, you don't know the terror I went on after that when I heard that. You know what it went back to? I went all the way back to when we talked about earlier, Salvation Army, Sterling Middle School, Carver Center, Proctor. I started living back in the gym again. Because it was two things. I was like, these people think I can't play. That's number one. And it's some money on the line.
That
was the moment. That was a moment. It changed from the hoop dream to the hoop reality.
The hoop reality. Ain't nothing like money motivation, baby.
And fellas, I went off. And I led the team all the way to the championship game against Tyus Edney. And Tyus Edney was the man over there. Like, this dude.
Where was this at?
This is in Italy. He was in a place called Benetton, Italy. And I was in Bologna, Italy. But Tyus had been there like 3 or 4 years before I was, and he was the man. And I mean, he making millions of dollars. He driving Benzes, you know what I'm saying? And he playing on the team with all the best national players. I think Trajan Langdon was the other American. So I'm in them. And this is all on film. You can go to YouTube and see these games. Like, wow. And so I'm lighting them up. We end up losing the series 3-1. But, you know what I mean? We got to the playoffs. I got the bonus. And my mindset about European basketball changed from that day forward.
So out of these places, Italy, Israel, Sweden, Croatia, Greece, and Qatar, which one was the best one for you?
The favorite place to be was Italy. It was Israel. Sorry, and initially, Israel is America. It's westernized. It was the second language was English. It was just a place that it felt good. The weather was nice. It was just but basketball wise, it wasn't that good. They only had one team, and that was Maccabi Tel Aviv, where Anthony Parker is a legend there. You know what I'm saying?
Candace brother, right?
Yeah, Candace Parker's brother. Like, me and him, good friends today. He's a general. I think I want to say he's general manager with the G League team down in Orlando, Lakeland Magic down in Orlando. He's the general manager of that team now. So shout out to him. But the best place ended up being Italy. It ain't nothing like Italy, man. Italy it changes it educates you culturally. Like, I got a chance to visit Rome. I got a chance to be in Milan. I was in the Colosseum in Rome. I was at the Vatican. You know what I'm saying? So
that's where the best competition was.
Yeah, and Italy at that time when I played. Italy and Spain housed the best competition, NBA level competition for basketball. Italy and Spain at that time. Yep.
So you had guys that had played in the NBA or had went on 10-day contracts, and you was playing. They was in your league.
Yeah, just think about it. I think when we beat. In the second round, one of them rounds, we beat Rome, and Rome had a couple of dudes. His name is Dan. He played for Milwaukee Bucks. He was their big guy. I have to think about his name, but we played against him. Tyus Edney was there. I just told you that. That's NBA talent. Trajan Langdon was there. NBA talent. Boosie Thornton from St. John's. He was there. Yep. We beat their team in the quarterfinals. NBA talent. Him and it's another guy. What's my man name? Played for Rhode Island. Point guard, real small. Tyson Wheeler, who played with Keno Mobley. He was there. I mean, the competition was bananas, Arthur. So it was like, but the two highest level, because there was a league called Euro League, right? And that's where we went to the Euro League Final Four my second year in Italy.
What sneakers was you rocking in Italy? What was your favorite shit to play in?
I was playing in Jordans, man. Like, was it 13s, the 12s? I can't remember what number it was, but it was I think it was the ones. He not when he hit the game winner, his fifth championship, he had them on. I don't know what, but I played in Mike's because at that time, you know, our team had like a Nike deal, and the dude gave me some Jordans. So. Like it was high level competition, man, and high level money. So, you know, I was in heaven. Like, I was happy.
How was the shopping over there?
Shopping was bananas, man. I always brought my family over, my mom and my auntie. They really loved being there.
They got to experience it.
Absolutely. Oh, I brought my family.
That's beautiful, man.
That's what it's about. And it changed me, man. It really did. That playing in Sweden, playing in I was on my downside when I played in Sweden. I was just after the money. Had a good time there. That's the first time I seen where it was dark 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all have ever experienced that, man.
I experienced a little bit in Alaska. It's
yeah.
It can very similar.
What you mean it's dark 24 hours?
It's 24 hours of darkness. Like there's no daytime.
Like, so in the morning, when it's supposed to be light, you waking up in the dark.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's gonna stay dark all the way.
It's gonna stay there all the way for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it was.
What?
Like that.
Let me ask you this, AJ, because we're taking up so much of your time, man. We'll move into the section, man, we call overtime. So real quick, man, this is the overtime section. Who were the rappers you were listening to that's playing in AJ's car in high school, AJ's car in college, and even now to this day? Who does AJ listen to?
I do not. This is a full disclaimer. I do not condone or want you guys, kids, to listen to this stuff. Back then, it's on clearly. When I was listening to Ghetto Boys, was in my car. Ghetto Boys. I was heavy West Coast rap fan. DJ Quick, Snoop Dogg, all the G-Funk family, the Death Row, Tupac, obviously, and Jay-Z. Crucial Conflict. Shout out to my guys I see in Chicago every year. Crucial Conflict. I was listening to a lot of dark music, but I never dove into that. I just like the creativity. No Limit was huge. Was always in rotation. Master P came out with an album every week, so No Limit was always in my rotation. 8-Ball, MJG is probably and Outkast are my favorite groups. Like I listen to them all the time. Every album, front to back. And Jay-Z. But I'm a big R&B guy. And so on the R&B side, it was obviously, and I know people get mad about it, but it was R. Kelly.
Right.
Full disclaimer, we do not condone what R. Kelly did. All that, but his music probably got half of our kids here. At that time. And so I'm heavy in that. Usher, R. Kelly, and SWV, Escape. This is the type of music I listen to, man. It's still to this day. I don't listen to new music. The only new people I listen to is Drake a little bit. I like his creativity. I listen to some what's my man, Pusha T. I love Pusha. But I still Jay-Z all day. I still listen to Tupac like it came out yesterday.
That's crazy.
I'm still wrapped up in the old school fellas.
I hear that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm quite sure our listeners would definitely know all them people you talking about.
Oh yeah, you listen to all that, boy. And house music. Shout out to house music.
So the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So tell us a little bit about this daughter you got. She is making some noise.
Yes, sir.
What did you do? Where did the mama come from? How did you meet this? How did y'all create this? I think y'all was two scientists met at a dinner and said, hey, let's go back in the kitchen and create another Cynthia Cooper.
A 5-star athlete.
No doubt. Man, I met my daughter named Aaliyah Guyton, man. She's only 14. She's going to be she just turned 15 yesterday. So happy birthday to my daughter, man. And she's going to be a sophomore next year, and she just has it. Her mom was a professional. We met in Italy. She has it. We know what it is. Like,
she has it.
We know they got it. You know what I mean? She got it, and she got it. Her mom was a Brazilian. I met her in Italy my first year. And people don't know this. Dating her was really a big part of the motivation of me going back to Italy, because I could have easily stayed in the States and chased a dream. But I'm like, man, I got a good woman I like, you know what I'm saying? I'm making good money. I need to go back, because she was playing at a team in Italy as well called Faenza, which was like an hour away from where I was. So, we met there. We had my daughter, man. My daughter is fortunate enough to be able to grow up here in the States. Her mom is a professional. She played a Brazilian national team for 4 Olympics. I think she 4 or 5 Olympics played in.
Five.
From 2000 to 2016, it was her last one, I think.
What?
So her mom was a pro. She played for the Phoenix Mercury for a couple of years, right when the WNBA was starting. So and our paths are very similar. Me and her mom paths as to pro from college. Her mom didn't go to college though. Her mom just left the crib at 14 and went play pro basketball. That's what they do in Brazil or perceived third world countries. They go get that money. Like,
she was a kid playing professional ball at 14.
Yeah, at 14, her mom went and got that bread. So, but yeah, I was fortunate enough to have my daughter here and keep her here for the opportunities for education here in the States. Her mom still lives in Brazil, but we both pour into her everything that we can, man. Like
So do your daughter does she have dual citizenship?
Yep, she got dual citizenship. Yep, she has a Brazilian passport, and so at the end of the day, whether she is a phenom in college or she go to college, she's gonna be a pro in Brazil. So it's like it's nothing,
and obviously gonna be successful in anything that she chooses.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely, man. So we pour into her, man. We pour in our faith into her to make sure to keep her on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean? But more importantly, you got to work to get what you want, and I always put her in that meat grinder and make her work it and make her work her way to whatever. So she's starting to now see the fruition of all the time for the last 4 or 5 years she's put in. Because I don't believe in like working kids out of age 8 and 9. I don't believe that. I believe in just letting them feel themselves out, letting their bodies feel
there you
out.
Go, AJ.
More importantly, having fun. Like I never wanted to take the fun out of the game for her. But when she got to the point where she started asking questions, now it's time to work.
Right.
And she got to that point about 3 years ago before she started like, Dad, so what's college? What would I have to do to play the WNBA? Now that's where mom and dad step in. And we know we got the blueprint.
You like Kobe, girl dad.
Yeah, girl dad all day.
Has she met the AJ Bob Knight yet?
No, no. We don't want to crush no spirits out here. We want
You want to build up. We're
building up. We're not tearing down right now. When she gets to be 18, I might take her out in that woodshed and go here. We play some one-on-one. I did ask her the other day. I said, "You think you can beat your mom one-on-one?" Without hesitation, yeah. I was like, this is gonna be interesting.
That's you and her. That's mom and your confidence.
Exactly. I was like, dang. I said, you said yeah. She said, yeah. I said, oh, y'all gonna have she going there in August. I said, y'all about to go at it.
What y'all do for her 15th birthday? What you guys do?
We went to Six Flags last week, Six Flags St. Louis. And then cool. We went out, we took her to her favorite steakhouse, got her a steak, you know what I'm saying? And, I coach her travel team. So we are traveling in Toledo, Ohio here in the next hour or so to play in a tournament. She's still, and it's crazy because she just got put really on notice 2 weeks ago. We did a tournament in Iowa. And people was at the game. And I was like, who is that? I was like, man, this girl been out for three years, man. Where y'all been? Like, but it is what it is. I wanted to have that mindset of, if you're good enough, they're gonna come.
They're gonna find you.
You keep putting the work in. You stay with the books, which is number one. We all know we not raising no dummies. So you stay with the books, and I'll help you complete the rest. And whatever happens, that's the journey we're gonna take.
That's the journey we're going to take. That's amazing, man. Man, just to have a bond like that with your daughter and the whole family just grew up in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just got to be amazing. And just to see her, what surprises you of the things that she asks you as a dad and as she's learning to love the game?
What surprises me most because she really loves the game. Like she's asking me yesterday, like, Dad, I want to go to the boys' open gym. And I was like, what? No, not today.
She want to go play with the dudes.
Yeah, well, I have her play with the dudes normally. That's how you get tough as a girl. Like, you don't play against, because other girls, they don't play like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't play aggressive. They don't try to steal the ball from you. Right. They don't you need to get ripped a few times so you know what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? So you know how to protect the ball. So, but because we're going to a tournament, we got a lot of games, I didn't let her play. But that's the stuff that makes me proud because I know it's on her mind. And it's like, and so I give her the reasons why, like, hey, Next week you can do all that, but this week we got to stay healthy because you got to put on the show this weekend. So I want you extremely healthy to put that show on. So I don't want you to go out here and sprain your ankle against these boys and nothing like that. But that's the process, man. Especially for girls, you got to find a way to get them tougher. Like for boys, it's changed. It's the AAU culture and all that has taken over. And they really don't listen to guys like me, William, Arthur. They don't listen to us no more.
Right.
Whatever the AAU coach is and whatever program they listen to, regardless of what their experience is, they listen to them now. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it's taking them kids down the wrong path.
Hey, but I always tell these shorties that's playing AAU, man, because now they didn't try to take the AAU game and almost make it just only an elite club. The elite play the elite. I'll be like, hey, man, if I don't care what your AAU squad, if you ain't came to Chicago and played some of these dudes out here, I don't care what you forget Mean Streets. Mean Streets don't come to the West Side.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm telling you? Like, come to the West Side and try to pull that with these guys that we talking about. Like, that don't mean nothing. You got to go and play. And I always tell them, the Drew League, go test your shit at the Drew League.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Go down to Miami, test your shit. Go down in Atlanta, test your shit against real summer pros.
Right, yeah.
And get up off the AAU stuff. They'll let you ball. If you really think you got it.
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier, man. It's just a matter of how all three of us, the way that we didn't have trainers, how the way that our games got the basis of our games from is the streets.
It's the streets.
It was. I always talk about playing outside. Like, we learned how to be general managers outside because we had to pick your teams. Yeah. You had to pick the right team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right team.
You learn how to play where you couldn't just pick your boys. You had to pick your team that you felt was going to win.
And don't forget, you had to be able to cut a guy too, because if somebody else walked up.
Exactly. You had to get people to do specific jobs. Like, you played outside, you had to be strong. Why? Because if you hit the ground, it's going to be a problem. Like, so you watch these games today, guys falling all over the place, because I know you didn't play in the street, because you couldn't do that in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So then you had to play with a sense of urgency. Why? Yeah. Because if you lost, you might not see the court for like 2 or 3 hours. And so what that make, Arthur and Will, every possession was important.
It's important,
So the type of shot that you got or took was very important, because if you just throwing up stuff, you lose 7-0 or 11-2, you ain't getting back on the court. So all those little lessons that we took for granted, we just playing.
And people don't understand how quickly you can get to 7.
Exactly right. You down 4-0. You like,
that's right. That's right.
Like, we so the urgency, being ready to play, picking your right team, playing strong, calling your own fouls, understanding what calls was. This is the part of the game that's missing from our youth, because they just simply don't do that at that level anymore. Right. Now everything is organized for them now. Everything is air conditioned. Remember the hot boxes we played in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And was glad to play in them.
You're right, Will.
Was glad to play in them.
We breathing heat, that's fellas. Right. Like, we fire dragons. Right. Like, we breathing fire. So
I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to get your take on, man, your thoughts about athletes today. I mean, particularly from 2 levels, from a business perspective, like the NCAA and players being able to capitalize on their likeness, as well as, what your thoughts on this new overtime league that's getting ready to come out. And also, too, man, I just want to get.
No, I think you make a decision. You stick with your decision. That's why it's an important decision. I think if you allow people to just continue to go out and come back in, it really causes imbalance within the college game. Yeah. And now coaches are replacing kids, and kids end up getting lost. It's just for every action that's happening there, you seeing the reaction.
The reaction, yeah.
For people being paid, I think college kids should get paid. I think there's enough money within the universities for the universities to pay them. But one thing that you're going to lose in that process is college, and all of us has been there. College is the place that helped us learn how to be financial planners. We learned how to manage our money in college. You know what I'm saying? That $600 Pell Grant had to last you the whole semester. So yeah, we didn't have $4,000 checks coming in every month. You know what I'm saying? So you lose a lot of integrity as you're giving what these kids are deserved. I'm not saying they don't deserve it. So what you got to do is find a balance. What I like to see at the college level is people, the universities put money away with interest for kids who graduate. So when you graduate, maybe you graduate with 20 grand.
Who was your top 5 Chicago, Illinois people that you looked up to as far as basketball players? And then what is the next hoop dream for Agee Guyton?
As far as like, I'm educated about, the history of basketball here. That's why I'm not exaggerating when I say I watched Hoop Dreams probably 50 times to 100 times in my lifetime. And we watched it every day in high school. You know, y'all movie was like 3 hours long. So we had to watch it in sections, you know what I'm saying? But our real hoop dream was to do exactly what you guys were trying to do. So, but we were very educated, man. Who I looked up to when it comes to Illinois basketball, obviously Isaiah Thomas sticks out to me because Isaiah is one of them. When I say looked up to, first player I saw that I thought was so incredible was Antoine Walker. Antoine Walker was one, obviously being from Peoria and coming up. Howard Nathan was the guy that we looked up to here in Peoria. Let me see. Illinois. Oh, Ronnie Fields. Ronnie Fields. And let me see. Let me get a fifth one. It's just the fifth one going to be a little weird, but it's going to be Mitchell J.J. Anderson. I don't know if y'all know J.J.
Yeah, we know.
Play that Bradley, he didn't score a lot of points. But it was just local, and I knew him personally because my dad knew him. So I just had that connection to Mitchell. So them 5 in Illinois basketball would be the ones that I think of that come to mind. Now, I got 100 of them. Right. The 5 that just came to my mind as having some type of influence on my approach to basketball in the state of Illinois. What was that second question?
What's the next AJ hoop dream? Yeah.
My next hoop dreams is to see my daughter's situation all the way through. What I do now in Peoria is big. I am the director of athletics for the Peoria Public Schools. So I'm over all the high schools that I competed against and went to. I'm over all the grade schools that I competed against and I went to, and the elementary schools. So we, as with everywhere in the country, really everywhere in the Midwest, sports is kind of down when it comes to sports in the Midwest. So my next hoop dream is to really, really uplift our kids, mentally and physically, and skill wise, and to help them, get the same opportunities, to point them in the direction of the same opportunities that I got. Because without basketball, without my hoop dream, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all. Without having hoop dreams, the video to watch, without having the stuff to watch, without connecting to the game, I wouldn't be where I got. So we don't have that anymore. So, my job is to, really, really, and I want you guys to one day to come back here and speak to these kids and
oh, that's done deal. That's a done deal. You got that.
To our kids, and stuff like that. And so that's my next hoop dream. Them 2 things is to get my daughter in a situation where she takes advantage of her abilities and gets an education out of it, and to uplift Peoria Public School sports.
AJ, listen, man, I want to thank you. Man, you just don't know, man. This has been, man, exceptional. Man, you're special. We kind of started this thing thinking that, hey, we're going to talk about AJ as the forgotten man. But actually, man, you more loved and remembered than you'll ever know, man. We appreciate you. We value you, man. And you are the epitome of dreams don't die. They move on. They transition. And, man, thank you for sticking through it. Thank you, man, for hanging in there, all the ups and downs, dealing with it. Because, literally, man, you are the epitome of hoop dreams, man. So we love you, man. We appreciate you. And, Doc, listen, like Agee said, man, you need us, we there. Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Love you too, guys, man. And thank you guys. The impact you've had on our lives, man, it will never be understated, man. I appreciate it. And you got my support, whatever you guys need from me as well, man. Thank you. Thank you for being you.
I'm the gold of my era. I've been a trending topic. I'm as fly as a feather. My pockets macroscopic. See, with time I get better. I'm always in the action, kid. Know I got it locked from Chicago where the toughest live. Concrete jungle, earn my stripes on the pavement there. You make it here, then you can make it anywhere. No comparison. Your game is embarrassing. No one can touch me. I'm all for going there again. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day.
Hoop Dreams the podcast, an Unlearning Network production, written and produced by Arthur Agee, Will Gates, Matt Hoffar, and Chantel Shan, with audio engineering by Matt Savage. For more episodes, check us out at www.unlearningnetwork.com.
The money getters, gotta be a dog to survive in this cold weather. Ice in my veins, no need for a warm sweater. I'm coming for it all, best believe I won't let up, yeah. Hey, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah.